I'm going to be focusing mostly on what I saw at the conference, but if you can't afford to invest all this money in some of these promotional materials, you can kind of do it on the cheap. And if you have a printer, you can just print a black and white illustration on it and cut it out for postcard. Also great for school visits because the kids can color them in with colored pencils. You can also do coloring sheets. And another thing that teachers really appreciate is if you have bookmarks that kids can actually color in. You can make them different sizes. Larger sizes are better for smaller kids. Include the name of your book on it or your website. At this particular conference, most of the postcards were printed around 4x6 size. They're printed on different weights of paper. Like this one is this is a very stiff, heavy paper. You can hear it. But this particular one is very bendable and light. For the most part, the postcards were all done in 4-color process. Especially if you're going to show an image of your book, that's the best way to do it. Here are 3 5x7 postcards. This one is on uncoated stock. You see a little bit of shine, but that's from the inks. This one has a gloss finish. And they call it different things, but this one has a satin finish. It feels very soft. It feels almost plasticky. When it comes to deciding which kind of finish you want on your postcard, decide whether or not you want people to be able to write on them. This particular postcard I had made is glossy on one side, and I did have the option of them coating the back side as well, but then I wouldn't be able to write on this side. This satin finish is great. It's coated on both sides, but you can write on it. I am talking myself into getting satin next time because I really like it. Another great thing about the satin finish is that a lot of these conferences have bright overhead lights, and so something like this glossy one that I had made is going to be reflecting the light and shining in your face, and is going to be obscuring part of the design because it's going to be there's going to be a bright spot there. But I think these satin ones, these satin finish postcards, don't do that. I know they don't do that because at the conference I noticed that they didn't have a big reflection circle on them. So next time, that's what I'm doing. For the most part, the business cards had the same variations that the postcards did as far as different weights of stock and different finishes. One thing that I saw in business cards that I did not see in the postcards, although it may happen, is that a lot of these had rounded corners, which is kind of nice. It's definitely a different feel. Again, some very heavy. This one has like a satin feel. I personally always make my business cards 2.5 by 3.5. One clever idea was that someone had made trading cards the same way, the 2.5 by 3.5 trading card size for characters in their book. That was a good, clever idea. The third most popular promotional item I saw at this particular conference was definitely bookmarks. And it's a great idea because you know you're surrounded by readers. Many years ago, when I worked in book production, many decades ago when I worked in book production, most of the books were still printed inside the United States. And what would happen is that sometimes when the jacket was being printed, because the jacket would be printed on a different sheet of paper than the book would be printed on, sometimes there would be extra space on the sheet that the jackets were being printed on. And on some occasion, the art director would ask for that space left over to be used to print bookmarks. Because so many children's picture books are printed overseas now, and because I've been out of the printing side of it for so long, I don't know if that's still a thing. It doesn't hurt to ask if you've got a book coming out. There are a lot of pins there. This one's wonderful. It's 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Some of the buttons were so pretty you could be selling them in a boutique. Stickers can be expensive. You can get them on sheets and then cut them yourself. I think that all the ones that I saw there, and they went pretty fast, they were the kind that were pre-cut. Okay, as I was talking, I was just wondering if you could just cut these yourself without scissors but with a paper cutter, and it would work fine. So you could just get the sheet ones. The sheet ones are a little bit cheaper, but you could trim them yourselves and maybe save a little bit of money. If you wanted a nifty sticker like this with the outline around it, you would have to get a copper die professionally made that would trim it out, and that could be quite expensive. But nowadays they're doing it with lasers. I'm pretty sure this is a vinyl one. So yeah, that's vinyl. I can't rip it. So that's pretty cool.